What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlayboyGamer.com. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for being patient with me the last few days, as I've been a little bit under the weather. I'm feeling a little bit better now. I think my voice is back to where it needs to be. So today we're going to go to our second preseason of our Arkansas Pine Bluff Dynasty. In the last video, we went through our off season. We brought in as much talent as we possibly could with what little points we had to play with. We got the roster shored up, moved some players around, and today we're going to do all of our preseason shenanigans. So we're going to start off at the very top, go to preseason options, and we're going to check out the schedule. I have already made this, and as you can see, it's still a C- schedule. I was suggested to keep it a little bit easier this time, and that's what I did. Now we're going to start off with one FCS school. I normally don't like to do this, but I picked one, and according to the game, this is Arkansas Pine Bluff's main rivalry, Texas Southern. So we're going to start off the season with a game against them. Hopefully we could get a good conference victory starting off the season. Then we got at Temple. It's been a long time since I played in that stadium, so I figured it'd be fun to play them. Then we got Buffalo coming here. It's been a long time since I played Buffalo. And then we're going to go right into our conference schedule. Florida Atlantic at Arkansas State. We got an open week. I prefer to have my open week like right in the middle of the season. And we got at Troy. We got Central, or it's not Central, but we got South Florida. Now, I could have picked other schools, but that was like the worst one of the bunch. Yes, I could have picked somebody a little tougher, but again, we're going to try to get some wins this year so we can really crank things up. And if we have a really good season this year, get plenty of wins because the schedule is so bad, trust me, I'll definitely crank up the schedule next year. But this year, we're going to try to get some wins if we can. Then we got North Texas heading back to the conference schedule at Florida International, MTSU, at Louisiana Lafayette, and we're going to end the season with a trip to Hawaii, which should be fun. So that is my schedule. Hopefully we could get some wins, get close to maybe a bowl game. Now that we got some players to work with, it's still going to be a bit of a stretch. We still got a lot of holes to fill. Speaking of, let's go to the roster. We're going to start off with redshirt players. And the first thing we're going to look at is Matt Flynn. You see here, he is immediately eligible thanks to a friend on YouTube. He helped me out. He removed the transfer eligibility pretty much from every player in the Dynasty, which is pretty cool. So every player going right now is eligible to play out of the gate. Now, we're looking at our quarterbacks, and we're going to talk redshirting. Now, Matt Flynn's going to be our starter, and, of course, he can't redshirt. Lovelady can, but I'm not going to. Yes, I can, but that's not going to help a whole lot since Matt Flynn will be back next year unless I just put up crazy numbers. I don't think that's going to happen. But I like to see Lovelady go. That way we can maybe find another quarterback to maybe redshirt and get him ready, or maybe a couple, because we're going to actually need one or two. So I'm okay with not redshirting Lovelady. The only downside, he's an impact player, and he's not going to play a whole lot unless Flynn gets hurt. So hopefully halfway through the season, that impact status may go to Flynn. Perhaps. We'll see. So we don't have to redshirt anybody here. Next up, we got halfback. Alex Johnson. That's a true freshman. This is probably our most important recruit we got coming in, because halfback position is super important in this offense, catching balls and doing a lot of things in the backfield. Now, I went ahead and redshirted another true freshman, and Zach Fisher. I think this is a walk-on, if I'm not mistaken. I went ahead and redshirted him. We're not going to need him, and I'm going to show you why when we get to the depth chart. If you go to fullback, we got a true freshman there. He's a walk-on. We'll never have to see him on the field. Wide receiver, we got Matthews and Gatewood, and we got Gene and Isaac Kona, another true freshman. Then we get some of the upperclassmen guys. Now, I almost was willing to redshirt this guy right here, but I chose not to. When we got a senior, I am not going to redshirt these seniors. There's no point. They're awful. They're not going to contribute in any way. So I'm going to let them go. That way we can recruit better wide receivers coming in. I don't want this wide receiver room too full. Could I redshirt this guy? I probably can. I mean, I may go ahead and do something like this, just because we got this guy here at tight end, Dustin Allen, who's going to be on the field quite a bit for us. We're going to use sub packages, and I'm going to show you something else a little bit later on. He's actually going to be playing the H spot in the gun two-back slot formation, and we're definitely not going to redshirt him, as you can tell. But I can at least do that. These four guys right here are going to get most of the grunt work. if I feel like I'm going to need this kid right here, I don't think we will because Allen's going to be out there as well. I think we're going to be okay the way it is. I don't mind redshirting a junior, but not these seniors. We've already looked at the tight ends. We don't have to do anything here. Tackle, I am willing to sacrifice one player to redshirt. And this is a freshman. I think we won't need him. We got 2 starters here, a freshman and a senior. Hopefully I could bring in a better tackle who could start at right tackle next year, but I think I'm okay with redshirting this guy. If one of the tackles get hurt, you better believe it, I'll remove the red shirt from him, and we'll get him in there. Guard, I could have done the same thing, like freshman and a freshman, and then we got a senior. I'm not going to redshirt a senior. There's no point. I want to bring in a better player anyways, and it opens up the recruiting pool a little bit when you got less players at those spots. Then you got center. Center, we only got 2. There's nothing we could do here, but we got a true freshman there. Defensive end, we're sticking with the 3-3-5, by the way, so we got a minimum of 4, but we got 2 seniors, so we need to bring in some more defensive ends here fairly soon. But here is, Chris Smith. This is another transfer. He's immediately eligible, and I didn't really mention this, but wide receiver as well. Tyrell Gatewood transferred. Then you have, going back to defensive end, we got true freshman Matt Barnes, who fits our 3-3-5 a little bit better due to his size. So I'm excited about him and what he can do. Defensive tackle, this is going to be a bit of a weakness, to say the least, because we don't have hardly anybody here. But we have the minimum. You only are required to have 2. And we're going to talk about the cornerback position a little bit later. But I'm going to show you at the depth chart how we're going to do some different things here. Outside linebacker, I have not redshirted any of these guys. I'm not going to redshirt this senior. I could have redshirt Fuller, but he's a 48 overall junior. I mean, is there a point to that? I'd rather just bring in somebody else, to be honest, over recruit if needed. So, as you could tell, linebacker unit in general is going to be a big weakness for us. Here's the outside linebackers. And you got the middle linebackers. We got Stevens and Johnson, 2 true freshmen. And these are walk-ons, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm actually going to move one over to outside linebacker, which we'll see at the depth chart here in a little bit. And I'm not going to redshirt the senior. There's no point. So we can't even redshirt anybody if we could. We don't have enough players. This is the only bugaboo I have with the 3-3-5. It forces me to have a minimum of 5 corners, which I think is goofy. It needs to be about 4 at the most. But why 5? I don't get it, because I'll only play a max of 2 at all times. Either way, I have all these cornerbacks. These 2 guys are going to be playing most of the time. This is another transfer. Brian Wilson, he is eligible automatically. Then you got Pauly, who's going to be at the other spot. James, I could redshirt him. But he's a true freshman, 52 overall. I'm just not, I don't think it's worth it. If he was like 65, 66 overall, then maybe. But he's just not good enough to redshirt. No offense to him. Then you got these 2 seniors. I want them gone. I want to try to bring in better players. Free safety. This is another weird thing. The game gave me a lot of walk-ons, and I don't understand why I've done that. I don't need these many free safeties. I want like 3 at the most. So I redshirted this guy right here. But all these guys are really young, so I went ahead and redshirted them. I think what I may be able to do is possibly move them down to like a different position, just so I don't have to recruit more free safeties. Just a weird ordeal. The good thing is we got Darren Williams. This is another transfer. He's going to start. Then we got Brandon Edwards. I'm more than happy to redshirt him just because of Darren Williams. If whatever Williams goes down, I could put Edwards back in. But I definitely don't mind redshirting him. So we're going to keep it all like that. Free safety. Strong safety. True freshman Bobby Lewis. In-season recruit. I think we're going to be just fine there with him. And we have an impact player, Kyle Shaw. Strong safety. This is really weird. He's an impact guy, 56 overall. None of that makes sense. But he's got a little bit of speed. That's 74. I'm definitely going to keep him out in the field, and that's an important position in our defense. So the fact that he's an impact guy may help us a little bit. We'll see. And, of course, our number 3 guy's a senior. I'm not going to redshirt him. We got 1 kicker who's awful. We got 1 punter who's awful. Both one's a junior and one's a senior. We're going to have to do some recruiting in both of those areas in the offseason. So that is for redshirting players. The next thing I want to look at is the depth chart. Let's look at the depth chart. Starting off at quarterback, pretty obvious. Matt Flynn is going to be our starter. If you look at his arm, it's pretty strong. 90 throwing power, 86 accuracy. It's obvious. I got to start the kid. Then we got Lovelady behind him. That's a good situation to have at quarterback, our most important position. Then you got halfback. Now, pay attention to this. Alex Johnson, true freshman. He's our number one guy. But look what I've done at the number 2 spot, Dustin Allen. I've done this for one reason and one reason alone, and that is for gun 2-back slot. That affords me to not have to use the tight end sub package for gun 2-back slot. I could put him at the H position. Yes, I could have went into the playbook editor and changed that to a tight end, number 1 at that H spot, because as you can see here, he's a 48 overall. Yes, that is awful, but that is only because of his awareness is so bad. The rest of his skill attributes stayed exactly the same. For example, his speed is still an 84. He can still catch a little bit. He can actually carry the ball. He actually has a better carry rating than Johnson. He just can't break a tackle to save his life. So this is going to be an interesting situation. This is going to be kind of similar to what the Colts and Manning back in the mid-2000s used to do. They used to put Dallas Clark in their gun 2-back slot formation to the left of him a lot, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's what we're going to do here. So you're going to see a tight end in the backfield this year. But that's just a temporary thing until I can bring in a couple extra better halfbacks. Fullback, we don't have to worry about. Wide receiver, this is going to be a little bit of everything. I can't really figure out how I'm going to place these guys. I got Matthews. I moved him over to the far left, but I think what I'm going to do, I've just changed my mind. I may change it around throughout the season. I'm going to put Gene, which is our true freshman. We're going to put him at the X spot or the left, L. Then we got Matthews, who's going to be the H spot. He played great. A few times we got to play with him there. Gatewood, the transfer, we're going to put him at the other slot. And then we're going to have Conant going to be the 4 guy. Now, when we get our tight end in there, that's where it's going to mess things up. It's going to put Gatewood on the outside. I'll just figure that out in a game or two, kind of how I want to do that, because I'm not going to put our tight end, Dustin Allen, in every single formation. I'm going to have him in 2 formations, either in spread or trips, and definitely in gun 2-back slot. So we'll figure that out. But I think for now, I'm going to keep Matthews in the slot. I think my offense works a little bit best when my 2 best receivers are in the slot as such. Tight end, pretty self-explanatory. This is the only guy that's ever going to see the field this year, and Dustin Allen. Offensive line, pretty self-explanatory. You know, we got our best offensive linemen starting at every position. And as you can see, we're playing 4 freshmen and 1 senior at right tackle, but it's a whole lot better offensive line than what we had last year. Now let's look at the defensive side of things. Defensive end, left end especially. Chris Smith, the transfer, is going to start at left end. I want him there. For whatever reason in this game, the left ends tend to perform a little bit better than the ones on the right, and he is our best defensive end. Then you got right end, Matt Barnes, true freshman. That's going to be his spot for the next 4 years, unless I just can't bring in a defensive end for some odd reason. Now, defensive tackle, pay attention to this one. This one's a little weird. Antonio Hadley, true freshman. He is definitely our number 1 guy. But I have a backup right guard playing defensive tackle. My best defensive tackles beyond Hadley are all 40 overall. Like my number 2 guy is technically Stinger. But I got totally in there because look at his size, 6'3", 300 pounds. You go to the next one, 6 feet, 255. I need humongous size playing defensive tackle. Now, I've never really experimented with this before. I've talked about this with some other gamers in the past. And what happens if you put in a humongous offensive lineman at defensive tackle? How will they perform? I don't expect them to perform well at all. But at least they can push some people around, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But at least that gives me a little bit of depth. Because look at my 4 spot. My backup center is my number 4 defensive tackle. Again, he's another big dude. So at least we got some size there. That way Hadley doesn't have to do everything. So an interesting situation, defensive tackle. But I think it's pretty cool nonetheless. And hopefully that'll salvage what little bit we have there. Now, linebacker. Left outside linebacker, I moved true freshman middle linebacker Jeff Johnson to the left. Then we got back to Jay Stevens, a middle linebacker in the middle. And I got Johnson as his backup just in case something doesn't happen right there. And right outside linebacker is going to be another true freshman, Sean Davis. Really young, but again, our biggest weakness is a linebacker, and we're going to try to solve that in recruiting in short order. Then we got corners, Wilson, Polly, and look at here. I will occasionally, since I have so many corners, technically I got 2 decent ones, I may play a little dime. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I put Shaw right here just in case I maybe want to switch to nickel. Nickel is really going to be no different than what my 3-3-5 is, except my front four is just going to be a little different. We'll see if I use it at all. My preference is to stay in the 3-3-5 the entire time. But you notice I got some weird people lined up here at corner. But hopefully these 2 guys are the only ones who will ever see the field. But if one of them goes down for whatever reason, I could probably put Shaw in right there. I don't know. I think what I may end up doing, I just now thought about this. Let me go ahead and put in James. I'm going to switch those 2 out. Just because these 2 guys can get tired at one point or another, and then Shaw would get moved up, and that would move him out of strong safety, which I don't want. So I think I'm okay with that. Then we got free safety, pretty self-explanatory. We got Darian Williams starting there. Strong safety, we got Bobby Lewis, and we got Shaw. Our 2 starters. We need more help here in the worst way, though, since it's such an important position in our 3-3-5. Kicking, awful. Punter, awful. It is what it is. So let's go to the roster, and I just quickly want to show you our just team in general, like our top 10 players. Big drastic improvement from what we had. Matt Flynn, Jeremy Matthews, transfer Darian Williams, Chris Smith, that's a transfer, wide receiver Tyrell Gatewood, transfer, Dustin Allen, true freshman, corner. We got a lot more guys in the 70s, so I think that gives us a little bit of chance in the Sun Belt, which I can't wait to play every single game. I can't stand simming games, but I know we had to. Now, the only other thing I wanted to show you here was our, what do you want to call it? Our captains, that's it. Our captains, I forgot which ones they were. I think it's Matthews. No, maybe it's Flynn. I forgot which ones they are. Maybe it's Bevel is the right tackle. It's always a senior who is the smartest. And the defensive guy, I think it's somewhere down here. I don't know who it is. I'll have to find a Ford, maybe it. Yeah, Dante Ford. It doesn't really matter who your captains are, but I just wanted to point those out. Last thing we want to look at here is program standards. Now, you remember we got a very high NCAA team interest bar. The good news is somehow the game has given me 45 points to play with this season to bring that down. And you better believe it. Let's hope we get some backups getting in serious trouble where I can suspend them for the rest of the year. We got to get this thing down so we can use these points elsewhere like recruiting. So that is a bit of a gift for us. I'm glad that we have that. The next thing I want to look at is Athlon Sports, the preseason magazine. Let's go through all this and see who is where. We can look at the preseason top 10 at least. Florida, Oklahoma, USC, Tennessee, Iowa, UCLA, Auburn, Virginia, Florida State, Texas Tech. Well, if you go right here, they got us dead last. We're now a D overall. Not D minus. We are a D plus on offense. We're still D minus on defense. But we got D plus on special teams. So we're getting just slightly better, but not a whole lot better. Heisman watch. Let's see who is on this list. You got AP, who won the Heisman last year. I'm pretty sure I put that in the last offseason video. I think I did. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But he won it last year. He's coming back to try for a repeat run. Then you got Garrett Wolf. If anybody remembers that kid playing in Northern Illinois, they had a really good team back then. Then you got Drew Tate at Iowa, Chris Leak at Florida. Then you got Maurice Drew at UCLA. Preseason All-Americans. We're not going to make any of this list. I'm quickly going to go through. I know it's not going to be any of the All-Americans, but we're going to go to the Sun Belt and see who is on here. Starting off, somehow this guy made the first team All-Sun Belt team. I don't get it. I don't remember him doing hardly anything last year. Of course, we simmed a lot of games. Maybe he caught a lot of balls last year. I'm not really sure. Jeremy Matthews made the list. Good to see that. Do we have anybody else? Not. Yes, we do. We got a kicker on first team. Second team, Kerry Washington, who's not going to play hardly at all this year, which I find interesting, made the second team. Of course, he started at the left side all year. Don't see anybody else on the second team. All right, conference outlook. Where are we going to end up or start out? You better believe it. Dead last, which makes perfect sense. That doesn't shock me whatsoever. Next up, let's do some recruiting. Okay, here's what we got to look at. This is our overview, and here's what we're going to focus on in the regular season. We're going to pass the ball so much in this offense, it's going to be hard to attract halfbacks every single year unless you run the ball well. I don't care if my halfbacks get 18 receiving touchdowns a year. They really want to see you run the ball some, and we're just not going to be able to do that a whole lot. I'm going to pick my spots when I do it, but we need to go after some more halfbacks so I can move Dustin Allen off of the H spot, and I can have him play down on the line a lot more often. It says we need more wide receivers. It says we need 2 more. I am not overly concerned about getting one in the regular season. I think we're going to be okay finding a couple in the offseason. We'll hope. If not, we still got a tight end we can use as a sub package. I'm not too worried about that. Center, we need to find one more. I don't mind looking for that while we're here. Defensive end, I got to get natural defensive ends, humongous dudes. Middle linebackers aren't going to cut it. I need 290-pound type guys. Defensive tackle, I want to find one more. It says I don't need any more. A minimum of 2 is fine, but I want more defensive tackles. I need one more, a legit one. Our biggest need is linebackers, an outside linebacker and middle linebacker, all because these guys are just simply awful. And it says we need one of each. Corner, it says we need another one, even though we really don't. I'm not going to go after that in the regular season. There's no point unless I find one that really fits what I'm looking for. Somebody's really tall and really fast. Free safety, no. Strong safety, we're going to see if we can find maybe one that fits what we're looking for. So let's look at our pipelines. I don't think nothing has changed since the offseason, but we could check real quick. Arkansas is a pipeline. We're going to go next to, if I'm not mistaken, Louisiana. We got to keep this as a pipeline for the rest of the dynasty. Keep on going. Missouri's a pipeline. I need to recruit this state a little bit more, and if it doesn't work out, I want to go and convert Tennessee into a pipeline just because it's right beside us. The only other pipeline I care about is the great state of Texas. And there it is, right here. We got to prioritize Texas big time. The rest of this is not going to matter. So let's go and pipeline by pipeline. I think that's going to be a little easiest for us. And we're still in 1-star program, so I'm going to do nothing but 3-star and below. And we got these 3 guys right here, 6'2", 185, corner. Don't look too bad, even though it's not a huge need for us. Here is a big wide receiver. I need speed at wide receiver. All 4 of my wide receiver positions pretty much need to be the same type of guy, fast, who can catch. So I'm not overly worried about getting a guy like this. He's a good possession receiver, but that's not really what we need. Here's a defensive tackle that may be worth looking at. I'm not overly concerned about getting the biggest defensive tackles, only because they're so hard to find. It's hard to find anybody that's well over 300 pounds. Now, thankfully, Arkansas will always be a pipeline, so I'm not overly anxious about getting any of these at the moment. Like, here's an outside linebacker. We actually need some size here, but this guy's really fast, which I actually wouldn't mind. So we're going to come back to Arkansas once I run. If I'm down to like 2 spots, we'll come back to here. So I'm going to go next to Louisiana. We're really going to prioritize it in Texas. Then we'll go to Missouri, and we'll come back. Okay? Quarterback, I'm not worried about it. We're fine there. I would love to spend some time getting like a kid like this. He may fit perfectly, but it's not a need. Halfback, let's find somebody who's quick and can hopefully catch the ball. This kid looks ideal. 4.41 A-, bikini catch. Let's take a chance on him. Fullback, don't have to worry. Wide receiver, I would like to, but I don't think we need to at the moment. So we got bigger fish to fry. Tight end, don't have to worry about it. Tackle, one thing I didn't mention, we probably need to get a tackle and a guard, but we kind of done okay in the offseason. I really want to focus on some defensive players. As you can see here, our defense needs a whole lot more help. Center is the only position where I really wouldn't mind trying to find somebody. We need somebody who's really smart. B is not bad, but I don't like his size. I kind of like somebody who's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just skip on this one for now. Let's look at defense. This is what matters more at the moment. Really small defensive end. He doesn't fit what we want to do. Defensive tackle. This is what we need right here. James Wade, 5'11", 315 pounds. He squats really good. Bench is a 480. Yes. No outside linebackers, middle linebackers. This kid looks ideal. Since we're losing a defensive lineman, we only got 3 on the field at all times. I need more size at linebacker. We're going to have plenty of speed at strong safety, so we don't need super fast guys at outside or middle linebacker. But I like what I'm seeing here, Justin Gibbons. I'm going to take a chance on him. Corner, this guy's too small. I'm not going to bother. Strong safety, 4-star. We can't do it. So that's pretty simple for Louisiana. We don't have to go back to it unless that wide receiver I may take a chance on. I don't know. Let's go to Missouri. Let's go to Texas next. That's more important. Quarterback, I'm not worried about it. Like this kid right here may be perfect for us. I'd love to go after him, but it's not a need. Halfback, I want to take a chance on one more. I would like to. Victor Billings, 3-star kid, 4.43. This guy could work as well. He's a little bit faster, but not as smart. I'm not overly excited about any of that at the moment. Let's keep going. Wide receiver, here's a 3-star kid. This kid may be worth it. 4.31. I want some speed. So I'm going to take a chance on that's the one wide receiver we may go after. Unless we can find somebody else. Tight end, we're good there. That's not really a big need for us anyways. Tackle, I could take a chance. I need to get some smart tackles because they can pass block. Pat Snyder out of Plano, Texas. This guy is a little bit stronger on the squat. I don't think it really matters. I don't think it really matters which ones we go after. Let's go after one. We could go after a guard. There are 2 guards right here, and I need pure strength here just for run blocking purposes. Like this kid right here fits what I like at a guard, regardless of what offense you run. I'm going to take a chance on Bryant Watkins. How about that? Center, well, we already picked a center. No, we haven't. We need to go after a center. 2 4-star kids. We'll deal with that later. Defensive end, 4-star. We already looked at 1 defensive tackle. Those are all 4-star. That's a 4-star kid. Middle linebacker, we've already gone after 1. I may have to go after another one. But we're going to go back to... We still haven't looked at Missouri and Arkansas yet. Corner. Ooh, this kid right here is kind of ideal for me. 4'3", 5'6", That's the one corner I want to take a chance on. I'm definitely down for that. Don't have to worry about that. And they don't have any strong safeties. So let's go over to Missouri before we finish off in Arkansas. Quarterback. This kid looks like a dual threat guy. He probably can't throw all that well. Let's keep going. There we go. 4-star guard. Don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Defensive tackle. He's too small. Outside linebacker. 4-star kids. Can't help me there. Here's a 3-star middle linebacker. I would like to go find one outside linebacker at least. 6'1". I may take a chance on him. And we're going to get another outside linebacker here a little bit in our Arkansas pool. Not much out of Missouri. We're only going after one guy that looked the part. Let's go to Arkansas. We got 4 spots left. And here are the 3-star kids that interest me. Defensive tackle. We're going to go after this right outside linebacker. That's for sure. So we got 3 spots left. I am going after a center. Defensive end. And there was no strong safeties in any of our pipelines that fit what we needed. Not a single one. So let's go after another one of these guys. Wide receiver. Again, that guy just doesn't fit what we're needing. He's really slow. I need some speedsters out there. Here's another defensive tackle I could take a chance on if I wanted. And here's a corner, which I wouldn't mind going after just because of his height. And that's a 4-star. So I'm going to do this. And then what we're going to go back and do is I'm going to go back. I got 2 spots left. Let's go back and look at a couple of these guys here. I may go after... was there another halfback I wanted to take a chance on? These are 4.48 guys. I should have wrote these guys' names down. I'm going to go after this kid right here, Josh Smith. And there was a kid out of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go through these one more time. Was there a center here? I may go after this center. That may be in our best interest to go after him. Oh, gosh. Let me go to Texas really quick, and we'll fill out that last spot. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. This quarterback could have been it. And I could have went after one of these halfbacks. I'm already going after two. Forgive me. Defensive end. I got the hiccup, sorry. Wide receiver. I don't know what we're going to do here, to be honest. Tackle. We've already gone after one tackle. We could probably... I don't think it's going to matter. I really didn't want to go after that one center because our center position... Let me go check something really quick. If you go to our center... Do we got a center that's going to be a decent starter for us for a while? He's only a 62, so what we're probably going to have to do is go back to that Tate kid, who is in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Texas or Louisiana. Yes, it is Louisiana, apparently. And we're going to do something like Tate right there. Okay, so that's all 12 of our scholarships. So now what we're going to do is simulate the first week, and we're going to distribute some points. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we done last season. We're going to go after 3, maybe 4 players, and try our best to get those 2 or 3 guys, and then we'll do the rest of our recruiting in the off season. First thing I like to look for is positive pitches. Gives us at least a better chance of going after these guys. Now, there was 2 guys last year that gave us positive pitches, and we still couldn't bring him in, but last year was a goofy season. We all know that. So far, we don't see any positive pitches nor negative from anybody. So it is pretty bland across the board. So we're going to go after 4 guys and see what we can find. Now, this defensive tackle I would love to get. He would fit our offense perfectly. I don't know how hard it's going to be to get him, but finding somebody that's over 300 pounds is just super hard. Let's look at one of the halfbacks. We're going after 2. Let's pick one. This guy's got B hands, and we're already down on his list, but that doesn't bother me too much. The other halfback, I'm only going after 1. Ah, dang it. That may be the one we'll go after. I didn't think about that. I thought we went after 2. Never mind. No big deal. We may put points on him. We'll see. Corner, 4'3", the 6'2", 185 kid. A wide receiver, that's way down to his list. It's only a B-plus hands. So I'm okay with not going after him. This center, I think it's worth it. We're already at the top of his list anyways, and that is at a position of need. So I don't mind putting, we'll do 25 for now. Right guard, this is another position of need. We always need help here. So I definitely don't mind doing this for now. Right outside linebacker, we need help here. He's not the smartest, but at least he's, he kind of looks the part. So I'm going to go ahead and put 25 on him. Middle linebacker, I'm going to go ahead and probably take a chance on one of these 2 middle linebackers. Either this guy or this guy. I'm thinking Justin Gibbons is our go-to here. He's faster and he's smarter. Let's put 25 on him. Now, before I do anything else, I think I may... let's look at these last 3 guys. Wide receiver, B-plus, 4'3", This guy's probably worth going after. Yes, I'd like to think that we're going to be able to attract a lot of wide receivers, but I don't know how hard it's going to find somebody that's that fast, has got decent hands. Tackle, it's not a huge need. Yes, I'd like to have one, but it's not a big ordeal. This kid is an ideal corner for us. I'd rather put points on him, to be honest. So I may put the 25 on him instead of this guard. I'm going to take it off this guard. And we can go back and look at our roster really quick. But I'm going to go put 25 on this guy. And then let me go back and look really quick. Roster. And you look at our depth chart. Guard, that's a true freshman. We're in a good spot there. And we got a 68 overall there. I don't know if that 3-star guard coming in could start over either one of those 2 guys. So I think I'm okay with not going after that guy. So let's go back to recruiting and see how I feel about the rest of these guys. Now at center, I feel like this is kind of important, but to be honest, he will probably be a little bit better than that other center. But I kind of like this kid right here. I need another halfback. I need some depth here. And B. Hands is actually pretty good enough. So I think I'm going to get another halfback. Again, halfbacks are going to be really hard for me to recruit in the offseason because we're not going to run the ball enough. So I'd rather put 25 here. I think he can make a better impact than that center. Plus, this guy's got B awareness, which is fine. If it was like A something, that'd be a little bit better to avoid high snaps. So we got the halfback. We got 2 linebackers. I think that's a wise decision. I split the difference. I went with Gibbons instead of Smith. And we're going to go after this McKinney linebacker. And then we got corners. So I think that's a good group of 4 players that I'm really excited about. Smith. Then we got McKinney, Gibbons, and Woods. Hopefully we can get all 4 of those during the regular season. And we're going to have to win a bunch of ball games to do so. All right, that is it. There's nothing else for you to see, to be honest. So let's go ahead and look at Texas Southern. They are considered our rival. I don't know anything about the rivalry, but they're an FCS school just like us. Hopefully we can take care of business, have a nice, good confidence win, and that's going to be in our next video, which will be against Texas Southern. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.